Sometimes as salespeople, we can believe that the value of our solution is so self-evident that, of course, the customer must understand it the same way we understand it. But it's not always the case. And that's why we must always pause to check that the customer and we are on the same page, that they truly understand and believe that the solution that we've been presenting to them will solve their problem or satisfy their need. Now, there's a simple approach that you can take, some very simple dialogue. It's simply to tell them the things that you have discussed with them in the past, but rather than you sell the value of it, ask them to sell the value of it back to you. And the dialogue goes something like this. Mr. Customer, in our past presentations and meetings that we've had together, you've shared with me some of the challenges that your business is having, some of the aspirations that you have, some of the needs that you've identified. My understanding of those are as follows: A, B, and C. I've also outlined to you in some of our previous meetings or presentations what my company provides to companies that have these needs. I wonder if you could summarize back to me your understanding of what I've presented to you. Now, something very interesting is going on here. If you claim what your company can do, and if you make all the claims about your features, capabilities, and benefits, the customer could doubt it. It might just be marketing spin. So if you say it, they can doubt it. But if they say it, it must be true. When they hear themselves enumerating back to you what they have understood about your company, your brand, your solution, your people, your expertise, your track record, your case studies, your testimonials, the demonstrations that you've done, all the things that you've met with them and discussed in the past weeks or months that you've been pitching to them. When they hear themselves relate these things back to you, they might surprise themselves about how much they can remember. But you'll also be hearing which points most struck a chord with them. What do they talk about first? What's front of mind? What key selling points have you told them that don't get mentioned? What key differentiators or advantages have you spent time talking to them about that you do or don't hear? This is critical because it tells you what's really in their head and in their heart. It tells you areas where you might need to revisit some of your value or differentiation just to make sure it's clear in their mind. So you summarize what you've understood about their needs. You say, now, I've presented to you what my company can do, but I wonder if you could relate back to me your understanding of what I've been talking to you about. And you listen to that to see how much of it sticks and how much is still missing. Chances are, if you've done a really good job with your presentations and made them compelling and personalized enough, what you'll be hearing coming back from the customer is some factual statements that absolutely captures the nature and the spirit of your solution to them. This is what you want to hear. The second thing that you want to do is ask another very simple question. So you would congratulate them. You say, that's a great summary. We should give you a job selling our solutions. You've done it so well, Mr. Customer. A question that I'd like to follow up with then is this. If we can give you those very benefits and that value that you've just talked to me about, and we can, by the way, but what would that mean to you personally if you could see the way that you do things today being changed as a result of the solution that we can bring you? What would that mean to you? Again, as they hear themselves getting now a little bit emotive about how it would give them greater ease, convenience, satisfaction, comfort. It would take away their risk. It would make things more efficient. It would make things more effective. It would get their boss off their back. It would satisfy their customers. It would help them shore their way up against the competition that's trying to eat market share. It would satisfy the analysts and shareholders. It would give them good PR. Whatever it is that they're talking about that means something to them, they won't be able to help but get somewhat emotional about that because they live in that world. Now, by emotional, I don't mean they'll start crying and saying that you're the best thing they've ever seen. Not that sort of emotion. But you'll see a twinkle in their eye. You'll see their eyes open up wide. You'll see them leaning forward and getting somewhat enthusiastic about things. This is a byproduct of how well you've sold up until this point. But instead of trying to pitch all of your value and absolutely make sure that you're on the same page together, get them to relate it back to you. It's a great way of testing how much they retain in their memory banks. It's also a great way of testing what it is that you've told them that is front of mind, that they have prioritized. It's also a great way of you testing what areas of differentiation that you really need them to understand might not quite yet have registered, so you can revisit that. Then you summarize, and then you're very clear in simply asking, so based on everything that we've discussed, the solution that we've described to each other and the needs that you have, do you see what we do as a great fit for what you're trying to achieve in your business? The fact that they've been the one relating your solution back to you is a great way of putting them in a position where it's very logical, but also very satisfying for them to say, yeah, I like your solution. I can see how it would work. And that is an essential step before you go into the final close, just to make sure that they see the value of your solution the way that you see it. Try it with the very next customer that you're selling to. Put the onus on them to sell your value back to you. And you might be surprised at how involved they are and how committed they are. And they might also be surprised because they'll hear themselves. And when they hear themselves, they might recognize, you know what? I've already decided who I want to buy from because I really believe in this. And that's exactly where you want them to be.